Hello, we're the team Bowls. The team is composed by Sukriti, Joyce, Jimmy, and myself, Kevin. I will give you guys a sort of why we chose this type of interface, this type of design, and a quick overview of our interface. So first of all, we came up with this type of designs because we were looking at the Pizza Hut menu, and really like it because you can just choose the ingredients you want on your pizza, and it keeps updating the pizza to show what it currently looks like. And we were brainstorming and we had different ideas, and this was the simplest one to implement and the one we liked the better. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick overview. So first of all, this is the main screen. We have the logo. It's pretty minimalistic, and then we have the button to start your order. You click on it, and it takes you to the base page. So we are a make your own bowl type of menu where you select the ingredients, and it keeps adding the item to your bowl. So first you select a base. We have the options, and when you select one or two options, it signals that it has been selected with a green circle around it, and you can pretty much deselect it by clicking it again. So once you're comfortable with your selection, you click on next, and it takes you to the protein page. Another reason we chose this type of menu is because it was pretty this part is easy to implement because the pages are basically the same. You can see that the only thing that changes is the title and the pictures of the items. So basically, you can just make one HTML page and keep reusing the code. The only thing that you have to change are the items of it. You just put the pictures you want. So once you finish selecting your protein, you can select one or two, like half and half, and then you click on next, and it takes you to the toppings page. And it's the same thing. You can select as many as you want, and if you don't want something, you can just click on it again to remove it. We're just focusing on the core implementation, but we're planning to add plus or minus buttons. So when you click on it, you can just add like double avocado or three portions, and you can just add to increase the quantity that you want or remove if you want less. So after you have selected your toppings, you click on next, and it takes you to create another one or review your order. Once you click on the review, it takes you to this page where it shows the things that you have selected so far, and we are planning to add things to remove it from here, so you don't have to go all the way back like it is right now. So you have to go all the way back and just click on the item again if you don't want it anymore. So it will be easier for the user to just do it from the review page. So this is what we have so far. We also would like to add the thing I talked about the first at the beginning where we said that like that's Pizza Hut menu. It shows you the pizza how it's been so far. So we want to add a bowl here at the bottom that once you add a topping, it will keep updating your bowl to show like a image of the what you currently have.
So I'm going to be talking about the design choices that we made for our kiosk. So firstly, we decided to keep our kiosks layout similar to most other kiosks layout, and we did this so that the users are somewhat familiar with how to use our kiosk if they have used any previous if they've used kiosks previously. If not, we still decided to keep our design fairly minimalistic and easy to use. So that if there's a user who is uncomfortable with using technology or may not have used a kiosk in the past, they would still be finding it easy to navigate their way through using this kiosk. Um, Another reason we decided to have a simple and minimalistic design is so that the attention is not taken away from the main goal, which is to create a bowl a food for the user. If there are too many different things that a kiosk does, it might distract the user or might waste their time. And most of the users who come to use the kiosk may be in a hurry, or they're just uncomfortable in general, or with using technology. We did not want to distract the users with all these other things, so we decided to keep a fairly minimalistic and easy to use design. So we have a very simple button here that says exactly what it would do. It's to start your order, so we expect most of the users to be able to click on it and start their order. We also decided to keep the layout of the first 3 pages the same, and the idea behind this was that if the user is able to use the first page, which is select base, then they would be able to select their protein and their toppings because it's the same design. So we decided to keep decided for it to be consistent, so that the user finds it easy. Uh, but we did depend on a user's intuition to be able to know that if they click on an item, that's when they are selecting the item. This is similar to most of the technologies that most users might have used, so we decided to just use that intuition of people. So that's what we did. We also decided to use simple direct pictures and images of um, food items so that people know what the item is that they're selecting. If they are unaware of what the item is, we have labeled it at the bottom very simply, so that if this would also help users who don't speak English to like just see an image and know what it is, and be able to order food. Something else that we have done is that selecting and unselecting, um, again, is based off of intuition, but every time a user does an action, it is visible on the screen what they do. So for instance, if a user selects food items, they're able to see that they have selected it because it turns green. And if they click on it again, they have unselected it because it goes back to being black. It's the same if they click on back, they're taken back to the page visibly, and if they click on next, they're taken to the next page visibly. So every time a user makes an action, they're able to see what they've done. And then so the next page is again fairly simple. It says create another bowl and review order. Two very simple buttons that hopefully the user will be able to know what they do. If you click on review order, our review order is basically just a list of everything that the user has chosen. This is very similar to most other kiosks and any online shopping that anybody would ever do. It's just to help the user know what they have chosen. We also have a back button in case the user feels like they want to change something, they can always go back and change it. If not, then we have a very direct call to action button right here for them to pay.
So with our project, we did observations with a paper prototype and this interface. And in general, we found that our interface is pretty intuitive and easy to use. People know how to select and deselect items and navigate to the next page and previous page without really any hesitation. And um, in general, there hasn't really been much difficulty in completing the tasks, and it doesn't take very much time. We made some changes based on comments about the aesthetics of our interface. So the alignment wasn't centered and it was kind of different for every page. So we fixed that and we made it more consistent throughout all the pages. We also made the items, these circles, larger so that they're easier to see and so that the images are easier to recognize. And we also made the highlight line thicker, so the green line that shows up when you click on an item, we made that thicker so that it would also be more easy to recognize for the users. We also improved the back and the next buttons. We added borders around them and background colors that indicate their function. So that also makes the interface more navigable. Things that other comments that we did get are that we may need to add some kind of scrolling function when there are so many items on a page so that it's not super overwhelming to the user, and that could be implemented on this toppings page. We also want to add some cost information so that the user knows how much their order is going to cost, and especially on this review order page, so that they know that what the total cost is and if there are any extra charges for specific items. In general, we just want to add more functionality to our interface. The observation process was pretty straightforward for all of us. There weren't really any complaints. It didn't take much time for the users to complete the tasks and for us to give them the information that they needed and guide them when there was any sort of confusion and help them complete the observation.
Hello, I'm here to talk to you about the architecture. For our prototype, we took the model view model approach. Um, the project has a model called model.js that keeps track of the state of the bowl that you make. The model has code to set up the basis, entries, or all the ingredients of the bowl, and it has functions to retrieve the ingredients. You can also add or remove, and the model will do that by calling functions. There's some, when we were creating this, we had a challenge. So the first thing is that we wanted to make a lot of pages for each page. We didn't want to have one because that would be really hard to work on just one HTML file. So we decided to make the model in every single one of them. And whenever you go forward or back in a page, the model gets passed. Whenever a pages start, it loads the model data, and the model that page has loads that data and copies it. So this allowed us to work on different pages at the same time. If there was a problem with one page, it wasn't a problem for the other ones. And we did this, the passing of the model, using something called the web storage API. And it's actually you don't need to download any new APIs, nothing. It's in Chrome and Mozilla, as far as I know, and you just call a function called local storage, and you pass keys, basically a dictionary, and you just put a value, key and value, and then it's very easy to use. And once we decided to go with that, it was really easy to do. Like, you didn't have to worry about Node and installing like new things. I could just send it, or we can just transfer data. You can using it with a cell phone. Like, you can open our project in a cell phone. So one of the things that I wanted to show is the architecture of our project, and how every single thing that it's on a page that can be interacted with, it interacts with a model one way or another. So here's the start page. When you first start our project, it creates a model, and it puts its values, key values. So for example, entries, toppings, bases in a JSON file, and this gets passed to the next page. So when I click start your order, it's saving the current model, even though it doesn't have any data, but it passes empty data to that. So when I click start, the view renders the the model, and it sees that there's no white rice, no brown rice, no salad, and it marks them as not selected, right? So it loads the model, it sees the model as empty, and as you can see, this gets rendered every time that I select something. You can see that right here. So it's rendering every time you click. These items, these divs have uh, they have an event, a click event, um, and it tells it add for this instance, I'm going to click the already selected brown rice. So when I click it, it tells the model remove this item, and the model calls the view to render. So that's basically all that there is. So I can click all three, and these three are marked in the model as selected. Once I click next, what is happening is that it's saving the model and saving the model in local storage, and then open the next page. So when I open the next page, it gets select protein. But if I go back, it's going to tell it the same, save the model. And then when the other page loads, the previous page loads, it will read that all these three are marked. So if I click back, it loads a new page, the model loads, the view renders, and we get the same selection. So if I do that again, it's rendering the values. As you can see, I can go select all three, and then select a couple here and go back. It knows that these three are selected, so it renders them as selected. And then when I go here, loads the model and it sees this, and that the ingredients are selected. So if you go next, you go to review order, these are all the selections. I can go back and just select anything, review the order, and you can see the topics from out there. So we decided to go with this because it was really easy. Like anyone can work in any page. You just need the model. You know, once the page loads, you just need to load the model, and you can start working. So this was really good because we could divide work, um, and yeah, that made everything work really easy. So yeah, that's about our architecture.